Hey,
How you doing?
okay.
You just been resting today?
Yeah, I'm going to well. Go by the water.
Chief said anything to you today?
No. He called and asked if I needed something from the commissary, but that was it.
You ain't talked to your dad or nobody today?
No. Yeah? No.
Did he go back?
Yeah.
Is your mama gonna come down?
I have no clue.
You're so quiet. You miss us already?
No.
You don't miss us?
I messed up, bro.
Just because you mad. I'm gonna touch the damn thing.
Anything been on your mind today? You had anything on your mind today?
No.
Like, ain't no, like, coverage on Taylor no more. Like, everything that kind of, like, died down. Like, we, like, super kind of nervous that they just count them in the, like people done forgot. Like, basically, they just, like, they moving on in the world. And
What? They just gonna forget her?
we need you to say something because, like, that's the only thing I feel like that'll bring, like, some light back to her story. Some.
Well, we really just want to know just what's going on. We still, like, we're going to be there for you. But we want to be there so we want to know what's going on for that closure.
I don't even know what's going on.
It ain't been, you ain't heard nothing?
No, like, nobody talks to me. Like, the only time somebody call for me is, like, oh, what y'all doing? I'm doing, I don't know. I'm pretty sure my chief is doing it to make sure I didn't off myself. Because he calls, like, very randomly. People coming knocking on the door, like, oh, you're not who I'm looking for. Bro, you know what room this is. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially you the CDO, too. Like, you're the, the duty person.
Yeah.
I know why you here. Don't act like, you just popping up here.
Did your mama come down there? Because she had told us that, well, she had told your daddy that she was coming down yesterday.
She been coming since Wednesday.
That's about to say she's been coming there since the day that it happened.
But, like, she just
Like, I've given up on her. Like, I don't know what the hell going on with my mom.
I think you might need to ask her, like, why y'all's story is different. Like, why you saying that if she, she really was here? Why, like, what that's about? You need to ask her that.
Good, you think I'm gonna get a true answer after all this?
I don't know, but you don't want to at least want to know why she's saying that?
Like, what is her reason?
I mean, I do, but do y'all really believe she's gonna tell the truth? She hasn't told the truth yet.
I don't know what her reasoning is for this, to keep the lie going for so long. Cause
I mean, it's too late now. She can't backtrack.
Do you think it's something maybe in the old apartment that they'll find that'll help? Like,
no.
Because
if they did, they would have found her. Remember, they done closed out both of them. They've been closed out for, 3 days, 4 days, almost a week.
So, Brianna, you hadn't thought about, like, her just being out there by herself? You know she's scared of everything. Like, that, you don't think about that?
Girl, I don't want to think about that right now.
I mean, well, I've been thinking about it.
Okay, then don't think about that.
it's cold.
That's kind of why I think I can't sleep knowing that it's, and you know how innocent she was. Like, she really cling to the people she know. I think that's why it's eating me up so much.
If he think it's a good idea, would you be okay talking to detectives again?
Yes.
Yeah. The same ones, or you want some new ones?
Oh, hell no, not that lady.
Okay, bruh, that's what I was gonna ask you,
I'm
man.
not talking to that lady.
That was Brianna Williams on the phone with two friends who seemed more worried about her missing daughter than she was. She sounds just as ignored while she was on the phone with her father before hanging up on him.
Yeah, I've been thinking, and I was wondering, is there anything you can do? Anything you remember? Did anybody look wrong or anything? You know somebody that might have?
Everything I know.
They know everything with your phone?
I mean, even other than that, but they know everything I know.
Okay. What's in your phone? Sometimes, like, what would help us?
I don't have anything extra.
Like,
They literally have everything.
like what we need to find. You know what I'm saying? If you tell me that, I can call them. See what I'm saying? I still got the detective number down, the Detective K number. I can call him and tell him what to look for in your phone.
Well, how am I supposed to know what to look for on my phone?
Yeah, but I thought...
Man, I don't want to talk about this right now. I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Y'all keep calling me and asking me the same questions over and over again. Like, trust me.
You said everything's in your phone, but what else can it do to find?
I don't know.
Yeah, but hung up on me. I can't believe she hung up on me.
Both of the calls you just heard were control calls made to Brianna after she stopped cooperating with police. She was confronted and questioned on the inconsistencies of her story regarding the events prior to Taylor's disappearance. How did she end up here? And why did Taylor, another innocent child, die at the hands of her own mother? Many of you may be familiar with the case. And shout out to our friend Latrice, who sent me an email and suggested an Anna B deep dive. And y'all know how I feel about these babies. Keep their names alive and tell their stories. Let's get into it. Copyright disclaimer. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. This content is not made for children and has been created by your girl Anna B for conversations and to bring awareness to certain cases. Viewer discretion is advised. November 6, 2019, Navy Petty Officer Brianna called the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to report Taylor Rose missing, saying she had woken up earlier that morning discovering her 5-year-old daughter nowhere to be found, with her back door unlocked, initiating an intensive search for Taylor Rose, who had already been buried in a shallow grave more than 400 miles away in the woods of Alabama.
What's going on?
I do not know where my daughter is.
Did she run away?
No,
Where was she last seen?
she was here with me.
This sounds thinking.
Dressed in her U.S. Navy uniform, she tells the police that she last saw Taylor around midnight in the Ivy Street home,
Is this your
the
address here?
home that she had abruptly moved into just a few days prior. She says she was getting ready for work when she noticed her child wasn't there.
Yeah, 661. Issue Charlie 116. 1012. 1020 is going to be 661 Ivy. 661 Ivy. Hey, all right, man. Okay. Hey, tell what's happening.
I woke up this morning and started getting ready for work.
Cancel that.
She wasn't in her room.
Okay. Have you had any problems with anybody? Okay. Anything unusual? Okay. Do you live by yourself?
Just me and her.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoop, and it's the back door. I think the back. Thanks. All right. Okay. Okay. So, any problems with anyone else as far as that's it? Okay. All right. And there was been no dispute or anything like that. Any arguments with anyone else? All right. Okay. What's her full name? Light skin, dark skin, brown skin? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Did she have any medical issues or anything like that? Okay. When did you move in?
Like, I started moving stuff. Well, I signed a lease like in June, but the place kept getting broken.
693.
So I didn't want to move there, but I was like leaving it vacant. I was putting in there, but it's
Okay. When did you actually move in? In June or?
like a week ago, a few days ago.
Okay. Today's Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay. Did you move in, let's say, over the weekend?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
How tall is she?
She's like 1 year.
What do you think, 3 foot? 3 foot, I guess.
9:21 a.m. Florida Department of Law Enforcement issued a missing alert for Taylor Rose Williams. Air and ground search of the community began. The search was captured in more than 150 body cam videos around the Brentwood Boulevard and Ivy Street area. Dozens of neighbors in the area were questioned by officers, but no leads would arise.
I really hope that this baby is found safe, and I hope she's found alive. If it was mine, I would want somebody to come out here and help me. Absolutely.
I just wish that if she knows what happened to her baby, just tell the truth. Just come.
The search then expanded to the Paradise Island and South Villa complexes where Brianna and Taylor previously lived. Boats and dive teams searched area ponds for Taylor. During that search, detectives identified a witness who lived in the apartment complex Brianna had just moved from. This witness said due to his work schedule and proximity to Brianna's apartment, he became familiar with Brianna and Taylor. He knew their car and their comings and goings. He reported that he witnessed Taylor alone wandering the apartment complex on more than one occasion. And he specifically remembered first noticing her on April 17th, 2019. He remembered that date because he was on the phone wishing his mother a happy birthday. He was sitting outside on his balcony around 8 or 9 when he noticed little Taylor wandering up the stairs from the breezeway. He asked her, "Hey, sweetie, what you doing?" Taylor replied, "Looking for my mama." The witness took Taylor back to her apartment, describing the inside as cluttered with trash bags and boxes stacked on top of each other. He made sure that Taylor had locked the door before he left. The pajamas the neighbor described Taylor wearing were the same pajamas that were described in the Amber Alert. He added that he continued to observe Taylor home alone at least every other day. She would wave to him from the inside of the apartment at the patio door. He mentioned that Taylor was always wearing the same pajamas and holding the same doll. He knew she was left alone because during the times he observed this baby by herself, Brianna's car wasn't in the parking lot. Brianna would arrive home between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, carrying food, and it looked like it was just for one person, he said. The last time he saw Brianna and Taylor together was May 21st, 2019. On a couple occasions, he asked Brianna where Taylor was. She would always say that she was in Alabama with her mother. He confirmed that Brianna moved from the apartment the week of October 27th through the 31st. Taylor was not seen during the move. Brianna also acquired 2 individuals from online to assist in that move.
I'm still trying to understand the schedule thing.
So on Sunday, you get a hold of movers.
Yes.
Okay. And they came out. What time did they come out?
I have no clue.
Morning, afternoon?
It was afternoon.
After 12 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. How many people came out?
2.
2, male, female, or what?
Male, female.
Okay. And who was all at your house besides the movers?
Yes, me and Taylor.
You and Taylor? Where was Taylor at?
Depending on the address, she was in the bathroom.
At what address? On South Side?
Mm-hmm.
So when the movers arrived, she was in the bathroom?
She was in the back, yeah.
How long did the movers, were they there?
No more than 30 minutes.
What did you move?
Barbell, our bed, exercise bike, dresser, mirror, dining table, microwave.
I had to take more than 30 minutes. With 2 people, really?
I just moved. I had everything pushed towards the front, so they just came to the door and just took it.
Did they take everything?
Just the big things.
Why didn't you, if you were paying them, why didn't they take everything?
Oh, because it was last minute. I was like,
But you still paid them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're a moving company, right? So why didn't you just go ahead and have them?
Company.
Well, they moved you.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just go ahead and have them take everything at that time?
I hadn't packed everything, like clothes and stuff. Most of the clothes and stuff are still there.
Okay. So what was the urgency? Why couldn't you wait to find a mover once you had everything packed up and ready to go, so that you can move everything in one go round?
didn't even think about that.
How old are you?
27.
27. Okay, I didn't get that. I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think happened this morning?
I don't know.
Where do you think she's at?
I have no clue. Cause she wouldn't leave. And I don't even know, like, did they find Mr. Bear? Cause she won't go anywhere without that thing.
What?
This little pink teddy bear she calls Mr. Bear.
So on this move on Sunday with him, did she ever come out at all, or she was in the bathroom the whole time?
She came out, but they weren't in the house at that time. They were strapping stuff down or whatever they were doing outside. As far as I know, they never saw her.
Was she taking a bath, or was she what?
She was playing with fish.
Playing with fish?
Yeah, she was playing with them the wrong way. It's like the little fishing game, the fishing pole. Okay. Like she plays with the fish in the water. Okay.
All right, Brianna, and you know, they're involved, we're involved, we've got, I don't know how much, I mean, our whole detective unit is out canvassing and working and doing interviews, and part of this whole process is we're going to call the movers, we're going to call your mom, and we're going to verify some information. Okay? You know where this is going to lead to? Okay. So, the movers, it was pretty abrupt. You needed to be out of that house that day, Sunday, according to the conversation that one of my partners had with the detective, with the movers. Okay. What was what was the urgency?
It wasn't urgent.
According to the movers, it was, I had to be out today.
I didn't tell them that.
Okay. All right. And they never saw your daughter.
That's what I was, no, yeah.
They never saw your daughter. They never saw you put her in the car. They never saw her at the other house. They never saw her. Why is that?
I didn't want them to see her.
Why not?
Because I don't know them like that.
Well, I mean, you're not introducing me to her, but how did you leave her at the house on Southside and then go to Ivy without her?
No.
They never saw her. They never saw you put her in the car.
Never saw a child. We never heard a child. Nothing. But clearly the house looked like there were kids that lived in it. So I was assuming that the kid is in daycare, or maybe the kid's with a family member or a friend, so she can get her apartment cleaned out, moved to. But if you're telling my fiance that there's a child in the bathroom and he hears water running, well, that's a little sketch. And then you never loaded a child up into the car when we went to leave. That's another thing that, thinking back now, it's like, that doesn't really add up.
Just as she told her neighbor, she also told police that her mother had been caring for Taylor in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in the month of October. She claimed she had driven to her mother's house on the 31st, Halloween, to pick Taylor up.
So you hadn't heard from her in 2 years, hadn't talked to her?
Prior up to that, yes.
So out of the blue, in 2 years, she called you in?
No, it didn't go quite like that.
Well, tell me how it went.
Yeah, he couldn't bring it in my personal business.
To understand the severity of what
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with me wanting you to understand the severity of what's going on is, I don't care about anybody's personal life. We are going to find, and whatever happens, whatever gets in the way between us, we're going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a threat. That's a promise. Have you had any conversation with her about telling her commanding officer anything as far as you, if he calls you, that she was coming to get?
That's the part that I didn't get. That she did, this was just last week.
Tell me about that.
Now, she did call, whatever day that, I want to say it was Halloween. I want to say it was actually the day of Halloween.
So last Thursday, 31st.
Yes. She told me that if he called to tell him that she was down to pick me up from me for Halloween. Mind you, I haven't seen it in 2 years. So I'm thinking like, well, okay, she just met this new guy. Maybe she, took a little time out to go meet him or whatever. And she just used that lie to get away. But I couldn't tell you. She said, so I'm like, where is, matter of fact, I asked her that day. I said, well, what's doing? She said, oh, she in the back seat. So I'm like, okay, but she never did put the phone and say, hey, I never did hit.
I can tell you it's pinging at a tower in the vicinity of this area that it's pinging off of. What's throwing us for a loop right now is if she's living in Jacksonville, why is her phone pinging at all?
After speaking with Brianna's mother, detectives weren't too convinced that she was telling the truth, and the evidence from Brianna's phone wasn't at all helpful for either Brianna or her mother. Police at this time were waiting for GPS information from Brianna's vehicle to download.
I don't understand why she would even lie and say that she was picked up from me. Man, she lied on me. I never been in trouble a day in my life.
She is lying. She's trying to cover up something. Not sure what it is. She is lying.
But you have no idea what she's trying to cover up, though.
I have no idea what she's trying to cover up. That's the one thing I don't know.
Detectives confronted Brianna.
They called your mom. She hasn't seen your daughter since January.
Yes, she has.
Okay, why would she say that?
October.
Why would she say that? This is Carissa. This is your mom.
That's my mom.
Why would she say that?
She would not say that.
Detectives have interviewed her on the phone. They've spoke to both grandmas.
They couldn't have, because one of my grandmas is dead.
Well, on the father's side?
On my mom's side.
Far as childcare, Taylor at one point was attending daycare on the base. However, Brianna said when her work schedule changed, she pulled Taylor out. But she pulled her out just to drive her back and forth to her mother's home from Florida to Alabama. Another inconsistency investigators uncovered was the fact that Taylor had also attended a daycare facility in the Jacksonville area, and she was in speech therapy. Her attendance at both suddenly stopped in April. Only 2 days into the search for her missing 5-year-old daughter, Brianna just stopped cooperating with investigators. She stopped answering questions when detectives called her out.
I'm done with this. I don't want to talk about this. Yes, I am done, because you're lying to me now. So
how am I lying to you? I'm not lying to you.
You just said that my mom said, I literally picked my mom. I mean, not my mom.
I'm just telling you what my partner said. And I'd like to explain to you, but
I don't know where to get that from, because I literally went down there.
Do you want to talk
Halloween night.
Do you want to talk to the detectives I spoke with her and then get that? Find out what the information they gave?
I'm done with this, because I don't know where this is going, but no. Like, it's the second time this has happened. Like, some other lady was like saying stuff that I didn't even say. Like, she was twisting my words. Like, no.
Where other lady?
No, I'm not sure who she was.
Today?
Yes.
Where?
Like, she was like explaining. She was trying to explain what I was saying, but she was saying it wrong. Like, no, I'm done.
Well, but that's why we're trying to get clarity. That's all we want. We just want clarity.
Later, but not. It's a late day. I just want my baby home,
and that's what we're trying to do.
That's the whole thing, because there's no way my mom would tell you she hadn't seen her since January. Like, what?
No. And that's why I'm asking you.
No, I picked her up Halloween, that afternoon.
Okay.
It was pouring down rain.
I'm just telling you what she said to my partners. That's all. Okay? And and you have to understand our point. We're trying to find out what's going on.
Yes.
So if there's a discrepancy somewhere, do you not think the best thing to do is to talk to you?
Yes.
Okay. So do you understand where we're coming from?
I do, but I'm over this. Because my mom, she would not say that.
So you don't want to talk to us anymore about any of this?
Oh my God, and my grandma is dead.
What about on your father, on Taylor's dad's side? Does he have a grandmother?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand that?
I don't know that, but you said you talked to both of them.
I didn't talk to my partners.
Oh my God, it was my favorite.
Do you want to continue to talk to us about what's going on?
I do not right now. No, because this is going too far. Like, my grandma.
Okay, so you don't want to answer any questions as to the whereabouts of your daughter? Yes or no?
I've told you everything that I know. Like, I don't know.
But you don't want to answer any more questions?
My mom is on her way here now.
My
mom is on her way here now.
Okay. Do you want to answer any?
If you want to talk to her when she gets here, you can talk to her when she gets here.
But you don't want to talk to us anymore?
I do not want to talk to her.
Okay. Did you change your mind? You mean on that door?
No.
This was the same day that cadaver dogs made a positive alert on Brianna's car. A detective drove to Alabama to speak with Taylor's father. He advised that he hadn't seen Taylor or Brianna in some time. The last time he saw Brianna and Taylor was at Brianna's grandmother's funeral. He thought that Taylor was looking small. It seemed like she wasn't being fed enough. He explained that he had a difficult time keeping in touch and checking in on Taylor because Brianna changed her number quite often. On November the 11th, 3 days after he held a press conference announcing Brianna's lack of cooperation and urging for the community's help, Sheriff Mike Williams announced that the 27-year-old, accomplished Navy petty officer and former high school valedictorian was a person of interest. Shortly after the announcement, dozens of members of the Jacksonville Fire and Rescue Department's Urban Search and Rescue Team traveled to Demopolis, Alabama to continue searching for Taylor. The GPS data from Brianna's car confirmed her mother wasn't lying about not seeing her daughter and granddaughter on Halloween. But Brianna did go to Alabama. In fact, she made 3 back-to-back trips to an area in Linden, Alabama between October 31st and November the 1st. She was captured on camera getting gas along the route that she took. The surveillance footage from those gas stations didn't allow investigators to determine if Taylor was in the car because of Brianna's tent. Although she didn't go to her mother's home, she had gotten pretty damn close. She spent almost 20 minutes on an out-of-the-way dirt road. Brianna also stopped at a car wash on November 4th, and this time, security footage confirmed she was alone. Search teams, with the assistance of canines and some high-tech tools, embarked on a 25-mile radius search around Demopolis, with concentration on a heavily wooded area close to Highway 28 and Marengo County Road 19 near railroad tracks. By 1 p.m. the next day, human remains were discovered. Back in Jacksonville, news spread of this discovery, and police planned to arrest Brianna. Her chief was sent to transport her to the police station, but nobody suspected what was going to happen next.
I hate watching bad news, stuff like that on the news, and I hate going back and forth with it, where everything's going on. But, now they're saying that you're a person of interest now. Yeah. I mean, oh, shit. Open the door. Oh, shit. You all right? Should I have some napkins or something? You okay? Okay. I don't know why they were saying that. Let's take a sip. Yeah. I don't know why exactly they would say something like that. You need to go back to your room and lay down or anything? Say it again? Hey, you gotta say something. Say something. You need to go to medical? Williams, are you okay? Williams, you need to go to medical? You want me to take you? You want me to take you to medical? Oh, shit. You not, no. Williams, talk. Talk to me, Williams, talk to me.
Just minutes later, as the pair were en route to the hospital, the worst happened.
Faint pulse. Oh, oh, shit. No. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Shit. Run it. Oh, shit. No, you're not gonna go. No. Fuck. Come on. You ain't going on me like that. Come on. Shot.
Brianna was in serious condition. Her quarters were searched, leading the police to believe that she had attempted suicide by drinking laundry detergent. A Jackson News 4 crew captured this video of a helicopter landing and then someone being led into the hospital, a female, on a stretcher surrounded by security. Hospital officials could not confirm if it was Brianna due to privacy issues. That day, she was absentee booked into the Duval County Jail on 3 charges. Her bond was set at $1.1 million. On November 25th, through DNA analysis, the remains found confirmed to be those of Taylor Rose Williams. And let's be clear, Taylor had not just gone missing on November 6th, as her mother reported. Remember, the last time anyone had seen her alive was the neighbor back in May, 6 months before Brianna made the 911 call, which would explain why the remains found of Taylor were skeleton. Sadly, only about 10% of Taylor was ever recovered, and it was impossible to determine a cause or time of death. But the analysis of her tooth enamel and skull showed evidence of serious malnutrition. Authorities were only able to say that Taylor had passed away anywhere from several weeks to several months ago. After Brianna had went ghost on the investigators, they decided to have her surveillanced around the clock. 5 days after Taylor went missing, she was seen donating some of Taylor's stuffed animals and clothing. The search of the local trash by officers also uncovered more evidence of Brianna discarding her daughter. A box that was addressed to Brianna was found within the trash.
It's like my heart just been ripped out. It's like, what could she be? It's been gone.
You feel like this is something that Brianna can never be a part of.
No. She loved that little girl. That's a heart.
In my opinion, Brianna was a runner. Nobody could keep in contact with her. She'd go missing, change her phone numbers quite often, as you heard Taylor's father mention. Her family hadn't spoken with her, seen her in some time, 1 to 2 years at least. But those closest to Brianna, her coworkers, fellow sailors, and some contract workers, though they said she was a nice girl, kept a smile on her face, her uniform was intact, and she was up to par as far as military standards or expectations. But they had a completely different experience when it came to Taylor.
Like, wait, she had a kid? I'm like, what?
Paul Fenn worked with Brianna Williams at NAS Jax for 2 years. Never once, he says, did she mention she had a daughter.
It's just so eerie. She, after 2 years worth of time. I never even knew she had a child until it came out in the news.
Ms. Williams has been arrested for the felonies of child neglect as well as making false statements during this investigation.
It was just jaw-dropping. It's kind of like when you learn that a friend close to you or that you just know in general has died.
He says some of her instructors and the equipment she used was in his office, so Williams and others would come in for extra training. He says Williams was cordial enough, but looking back, he sees one red flag.
She started inquiring about like just getting a weapon. She had said that she was looking for a weapon for target practice, specifically an AR.
Fenn says she went on to buy an AR and a shotgun. Firearms and ammunition were among the evidence collected by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
I guess if sharing your child with others is a direct reflection of how much love you have involved, you know, I mean, how much time and effort you put into something, you want to show it, but she didn't show anything.
2 weeks after Brianna's suicide attempt, she was brought back into the police station for questioning. Again, very sleepy, nonchalant, and did not want to speak.
Are you normally just quiet all the time, just real low key, don't do a lot of talking?
I don't want to talk.
You don't want to talk? Okay. You're tired, you don't want to talk. So you don't want to talk to the police at all?
She was then transported and booked into the county jail, where she would sit until January 8th, 2020, when she made her first court appearance. She was arraigned on 3 charges, 2 counts of child neglect and 1 count of giving false information to law enforcement. She entered 3 pleas of not guilty. On March 6, 2020, Brianna was indicted on 2 additional charges, aggravated child abuse and tampering with evidence. She appeared in court the following month and pled not guilty to the new charges. She would sit in the county jail and make many more court appearances until March of 2022. The same day the state indicted her on second-degree murder, she pled guilty to the charge. The state didn't pursue the remainder of the charges. The court set a sentencing hearing for Thursday, September 15th. That hearing led into the next day. During the hearing, the mountain of evidence stacked against Brianna and testimony was presented. Among those that testified was the neighbor who last saw Taylor.
That's right. He says he saw Brianna Williams come home from work just about every day. Most of the time, Brianna would have her daughter Taylor with her, but he says all of that changed around the middle of May in 2019.
It was after JSO spoke with Carlos Johnson that they arrested Brianna Williams for child neglect. Thursday, during Williams' sentencing hearing, he told the court on the morning of April 17th, he saw 5-year-old Taylor Williams outside alone.
And I said, hey, there's a baby outside. Hold on a minute. And so I put the phone down and went downstairs and I said, Taylor, what are you doing out here? She said, I'm looking for my mama. I looked over, I didn't see her mom's car. I said, look, what you need to do is go back in the house, close the door, and let me hear you lock it. Right?
When you saw Taylor, did she have anything with her?
Her doll.
Her doll?
Yeah, the stuffed animal.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was the stuffed animal, yeah.
Was this a doll you had seen her with before?
All the time.
He said he saw Williams come home around 6:30 or 7 that night. He didn't say anything to Williams, and the defense asked if Johnson ever called police. He said no. Another witness and neighbor to Williams told the court she offered to watch Taylor after learning she was outside alone, but Williams never reached out.
Did you see Taylor outside by herself again?
Yes.
How many more occasions?
2 more.
And was this over the course of a couple of weeks?
Yes.
Every time, did you have that same interaction with Taylor?
We did the same thing. It's like a routine kind of thing. You know, she knew what to do when I came down there. I said, hey, you know, you got to go inside. She goes in and locked the door. You know.
Was Taylor still hugging that dolly?
Yes, all the time.
And was she every time saying she was looking for her mom?
Right.
And every time did you see her car or was
No,
it gone?
it was always gone.
Johnson says 3 times a week he would see Taylor waving at him from the apartment sliding glass door, and Williams' car was never there. He says he never saw Taylor after May 15th, not even with her mother. And when he saw Williams, he would ask for Taylor, and Williams told him she was with her grandparents in Alabama for the summer. The defense asked Johnson if he was sure about the day he saw Taylor outside alone, and then pointed out how Johnson didn't know Williams that well.
Now, the state also called a forensic investigator. They were looking into Williams' search history on her computer. There, they found multiple articles that talked about violence against children and malnourishment. The defense came back saying that there was no way of knowing if the person actually searched that on their own or if it was a random pop-up. Then we also heard the state, they called on an FDLE biologist. Now, this biologist did multiple blood samples from tests that were on the blood of the door inside the apartment, and 2 of those matches came back to match the DNA of Taylor Williams.
On day 2 of the hearing, Brianna declined to testify, but she did ask through her lawyer that a statement she prepared be read by her public defender's mitigation specialist. In reply, the judge asked, "And you'd rather have her do it than you for what reason?" "It's your right. That's why I'm asking." Someone else is going to actually stand in your shoes and read it rather than you. I'm asking you why it is you don't want to read your own statement. In reply, Brianna said that she was nervous and scared. The state did not object, and the judge confirmed once again that Brianna wanted someone else to read her statement. Mitigation specialist Erica Johnson for the Duval County Public Defender's Office read Brianna's statement as follows. "I know what I did was wrong. I felt as a mother, a protector, and as a decent human being. I didn't immediately call the police, and when I finally called, I lied and lied some more. I didn't take advantage of any timely opportunity to right my wrongs. I apologize to everyone affected by this tragedy. I'm tormented and punished every day since losing my baby. I tried to kill myself to escape it all. However, I'm not asking for any sympathy. I deserve everything I've received over the past approximately 3 years, externally and internally. I lost the most important person in my life, and without her, I lost myself. I accept full responsibility for everything. I voluntarily plead up to murder. I blame no one but myself." Following her 2-day sentencing hearing, the judge chose to take some additional time to review all of the evidence and testimony that had been presented. Brianna would be sentenced on September 20th, 2022.
The matter was passed to today to permit the court to review items that were submitted for its consideration at the second day of the hearing. After conferring with counsel, I, of course, committed to review all of the evidentiary exhibits that were submitted. There were in excess of 125 for the state, approximately 7 for the defense. I've reviewed them all, some in the company of counsel, some in my chambers. So that the record is clear, I have reread the pre-sentence investigation report subject to the objections that were raised by Mr. Beard. I've read the defendant's transcripts from secondary school in their entirety, and I'm familiar with their content. I've read the defendant's entire packet of military records submitted for my review. That's Defendant's Exhibit 2, including all of the efficiency reports submitted by those who were responsible for her supervision in the Navy. I've read the clinical psychology associates of North Florida report in its entirety as prepared by Dr. Bordini. That's Defendant's 1. I have read again for a second time the report of osteological examination submitted for the court's consideration, and at the request of counsel, I have also read the deposition of December 6, 2021, taken of Heather Walsh-Haney, PhD, regarding the analysis of the bones recovered at the crime scene. Having considered all these items, I spoke with the state and the defense at sidebar prior to you being brought out, Ms. Williams, and so I won't keep you in the dark about anything I ever say to your attorney or to the state. I discussed some real questions I have regarding the law, but I'm going to put those on the record here in just a moment. They may be inconsequential, but I wanted to warn the lawyers that they may be raised, and once they become part of the record, they may be an issue that the lawyers can help me with at some future date. But regardless, I'm prepared to go forward with sentencing today. It's important that we recall that the guideline range is 20.5 to life. The defense has argued for a minimum guideline sentence, recognizing that there's no legal basis to deviate below the guidelines. They requested that the court impose a sentence of 20.5 years. The state is seeking life. Sentencing is difficult for any judge. It's particularly difficult in a case like this. I've examined the mitigation that has been offered by the defendant. It's important to recall that we are here today on a sentence for second-degree murder. The defendant was originally charged with a series of crimes involving child abuse or neglect, as well as essentially providing false information to law enforcement. Those were dropped in light of the plea to the pending charge. She's not charged with those any longer, although child abuse and neglect became relevant. Her lying to the police became relevant, but I'm not fashioning a sentence in light of that. They are taken into consideration, and I just want everyone to be aware what she did after the death and the desecration of the body, again, is relevant only for fashioning an appropriate sentence related to the homicide itself. I reviewed the academic record. She has high achievement, and she did accomplish certain things at the high school level in spite of difficult family circumstances, and I recognize that and take it into consideration. I've reviewed her military history. She volunteered to serve and served honorably. The reviews that I received regarding her performance from those responsible for overseeing her work were all outstanding. They recommended early promotion in every one. She served well. In spite of that, I heard evidence at the sentencing hearing regarding collateral behavior outside of her specific military duties, involvement with other sailors that's potentially prosecutable as a crime in the military under Article 134 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And so while she's got exemplary service, she's also carrying on other relationships that are subject to potential criminal prosecution. Dr. Bernini's testimony was considered as well. Her family history included a mother and father who were unmarried at the time of her birth, a father who was not part of her life, active part of her life until late high school, a mom who was not actually raising her. She was raised by extended family, and the family environment was unstable, and there was a resulting allegations of abuse. That's also tragically common for those that appear before me. The evidence offered by Dr. Bernini was not offered as justification, but as a way of explanation, and the court accepts it as such. He acknowledged that his opinions are based on objective analysis as well as subjective opinions. One of the things that the court asked was whether or not the diagnoses and findings were descriptive or predictive, and he said both, meaning that it provided a context for the crime, but also it would continue to persist, which means that given the right circumstance, it creates concerns for me regarding danger to the community. There was no opinion regarding cause of death. There could be no expert opinion because the defendant disposed of the body in such a way that it prevented any analysis that would result in an expert opinion. Based on the following factors, I'll tell you the conclusion that I believe most appropriate. Again, in considering the allegations of second-degree murder, the evidence before the court is that the victim was not valued from the time of conception by either her father or mother, that her mother suffered, the defendant, from an eating disorder, that the father complained that the victim was not being properly fed. The defendant then removed the victim from daycare approximately 4 months to the victim, prior to the victim's death. Taylor remained home alone and unprovided for throughout that time period. There was no significant purchase of groceries during that time period. There were some fast food purchases, but no more. No significant food in the home or the apartment. The food present in the refrigerator was unfit to eat. There's a hole in a juice can from which, there's a hole from a fruit can from which juice could be consumed. That was an argument made by the state, and that is supported by the record. There were photos submitted for the court's consideration, and I did notice a change in the child's appearance, particularly immediately surrounding the time of death. She appeared small and as if she were losing weight. Again, we have no opinion regarding the cause of death because the defendant acted in a way that prevented that review. According to her testimony, she found Taylor Rose slumped over in a closet, unresponsive, and she knew that she was dead. The defendant failed to report the death of her daughter. She then lied to law enforcement repeatedly over the course of the investigation in order to conceal what she had done, which was to transport the body out of state and dispose of the body, which this court construes as a consciousness of guilt. When the bones of Taylor Rose were analyzed, they were consistent with malnutrition. There is evidence in the record then to draw the reasonable inference. The death was in all probability a consequence of starvation. There was a failure to act where you have a duty to act. You had a duty to provide care for your child, including the provision of food, and over the course of a 4-month period failed to do so, resulting in her death. Coming now to the sentence, if you please stand with your attorney. Considering the aggravating and the mitigating factors, wanting to ensure that the community is protected and that a sentence is rendered in a way that does not dishonor the death of Taylor Rose, the court sentences you to life in prison. Madam Clerk, can you give me credit for time served, please?
You got 1,043 days, Judge.
1,043 days credit for time served.
1,043.
1,043, I beg your pardon. 1,043 days time served. Thank you all. Now, anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from Mr. Beard? You've all been helpful. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Brianna was admitted into Florida's Department of Corrections on October 10th, 2022. Following her conviction and sentence, she did file an appeal, but Florida's appellate court responded, affirming in April of 2023. 2 months later, Brianna filed an additional motion to reduce or modify her sentence. The following month, that motion was denied. April 2024, Brianna filed a motion to vacate her judgment and sentence. In reply, the state was ordered to respond in written response to Brianna's motion. After being granted an extension, the state responded in December of 2024. In the state's response, acknowledgement that an evidentiary hearing was required on several grounds of Brianna's motion. Therefore, an evidentiary hearing was granted. Brianna was moved from the state females prison in Florida to the Duval County Jail on June 23, 2025. Her evidentiary hearing is scheduled for July 2nd. Respectfully, this case, there's a lot of information out on this case. Therefore, there will be a part 2 in which we'll dive into the evidence, into the motions that Brianna has filed previously to being granted a hearing. This is truly another very sad case. What gives it an extra layer of sadness and tragedy is the fact that I honestly don't know who to send condolences to. I don't know who really checked on Taylor, given her mother made it difficult for those who loved and cared for them to stay in contact. I don't honestly know who to send the blessing out to, other than Taylor Rose Williams herself. Sorry that you had to go in the way that you did and at the time that you did. I hope you're dancing in heaven. Rest in peace to Taylor Rose Williams.